Hello everyone and welcome to Game Club, and today we're trapped on a desert island trying to get out in this crafty and cooperative card game, Ravine. So I'm going to start with the unboxing. Okay, great box, love the work on front of it. I think that's really simplistic, minimalistic, but also really it just allows people to involve themselves and get involved in the idea that that plane is hurtling towards its apparent doom and you will survive it. But will you survive the island? Booklet, great booklet. One point I would make is 20 minutes. Really depends on how many players you've got, and to be fair, sometimes the game lasts half an hour and longer. Ages 10 and up, we found that, yeah, I think an 8-year-old worked it out as well, though a 10-year-old is probably more fun because they'll understand some of the in-jokes and some of the subtleties within the game. Overview, kind of straight to the point there. There's a really good video, and I would say that probably watch that first because it's easier to digest, although there is wordy. This book that is really able to kind of define exactly what you need to know per round, and the round cycle is well outlined here. Day cycle, and then what everything does, night cycle, and then obviously madness as well. This is more a cooperative game than some other survival games, and I really enjoyed that. Some people who probably like more serious against each other games will probably not like it, and I just want to note, great, wonderful people, really well deserved being rewarded for their work here. Stellar Factory, great work here. Stellar Factory have not sponsored us, so this is me just being perfectly honest with you, saying this is a great game and they deserve kudos for it. Great wooden tokens there. That's your fire and fire out tokens, and then your heart tokens as well, which nice touch as well. Wonder how long that will last though, because this has become more popular and probably fade out sadly. You've got your cards, and these are your item cards, and they obviously, the hearts define that you get the chance to have a heart back. And then you've got our objects as well, which you can use for things, wood, stone, etc, etc. And that builds, and I'll just put that in, oh, there we go, in there, and that builds these items. So you've got things like a spear, which is very useful to fight against animals, which we'll talk about in just a second. You've got your shelter, which is also very good to fight against the cold and the miserable weather, and then you've got baskets, which is very useful for carrying stuff. And obviously I would recommend reading the rules there because they're really helpful with that. Your character cards look like flight cards and are very good. I love this work on the back here. Really great work that they've done on this. The design, especially the design by Matthew Sisson, has been superb. Crafting guide, everyone deserves one of these. Great and useful and really simple. If you see it, it's just literally just punch, tells you exactly what you need to know. And then you've got your end of round cards, which I think are amazing. Some of them are absolutely stunning, and I just think it's great. It's just a unique and very specific item, one that will encapsulate a lot of good ideas and will be remembered because you'll be able to visualize, oh, I remember this game. I played this game a few times, and the people I played it with have always said to me afterwards, and this is months after sometimes, oh yeah, I really like that game. You know, the one where you had the cave and the raccoon and you had the fire and all that. And yeah, they just absolutely remember and absolutely loved it. But I also think the main reason people remember and love it is this. This is the madness cards, the brilliant madness cards, where if you unfortunately go down to one heart, you have to do crazy madness things. And this is why it works very well, or will work very well post-COVID, because you need the group together for it. But you do things like, there's things like dancing, there's things like not being able to look at people in the eye, and singing and such like that as well, which is always good. So, and as you can see from the box itself, I love the box. I think it's really well put together. It's simple, it's clean, and I love clean boxes, and it's also really effective as well because it doesn't have pieces flying everywhere. It just keeps them nice and contained, and you know what I'm like, I'm a bit fetishizing about that. So anyway, join us as we play Ravine. Right, so to play the game, it's best to start off with this one, the rescue, put down there, and then you can choose, and it does say in the booklet to choose the difficulty. If you want beginner, it's 8 cards to go on top of that, 12 cards for normal, and 16 for difficult. I'm going to put 8 on there. I'm just going to quickly run through so you can see there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then I'll just remove those off the board for the time being. And then in front of me I've got my characters. So we've got here we've got Malvi C, who has a bottle of vodka and can restore 3 hearts, and that can be shared. We've got Sissoon L, who's got chocolate bar and restores 3 hearts when consumed, no sharing. And then finally we've got Meow W, daily camera newspaper, protects 2 players from a weather event, and you'll see kind of what they are as we go along. I'm just going to keep one of these crafting guides here. What I'm going to effectively do is just quickly play one game just to kind of show you. But what you do is it suggests that you take 3 hearts. You should have 6 hearts, and you just basically put them here, and I'll just put 3 to show you. And then you take the other 3 in your hand like this, and you roll them, and then whatever you end up with is what you get, type of thing. So there we are. And I won't do that for all of them. I'll just basically so I can show you how the game works. Now, the round starts in the day, so you won't need the fire in the day, but you get to choose if you want to lose X amount of hearts for every search card you want to do. So for instance, if I go, I want to lose 2 hearts here, and always at the start of the round people always go, well, either one of 2 ways, either really overly ambitious and they'll take 2 cards like that, or they'll take 1 card, and some people don't take any and they become the backup. And then what you do is you look and see what you've got. So I've got a wild onion and some wood, so I can create a fire if I wish, and I can eat that and gain a health back. Now what happens is, then we get to the night term, once everybody's gone and you've decided what you're going to do with your stuff, you get to choose, like for instance, I will always choose to have a fire, because I could keep that wood and I can build something like, for instance, this, a sort of shelter, but I need obviously 2 wood and 2 fibre and 2 stone, or I can create a basket, 1 wood, 2 fibre, or a spear, 1 wood and 1 stone. I generally avoid that because my logic is literally it's easier, or actually better, to have a fire going, because often you get caught out like that. Anyway, you then turn over the card for the night, and as you can see here it says the bats, and a cloud of bloodthirsty creatures come swarming through camp. All players lose 1 heart. Fire cancels this event. So as you can see, the fire is coming very useful in order to stop the bats from affecting us, and we would have lost a heart, which can be incredibly difficult if you do lose it now. I'm going to throw that away because I'm going to take 1 heart back. And effectively what happens is you go through the rounds until your players either lose all their hearts or they're on 1 heart. And when they're on 1 heart, they have to draw a madness card. And for instance, this madness card says, "Call me Captain. Stand up and loudly announce that your name is Captain Cranberries. Refuse to speak to anyone unless you're addressed as such." And basically it says recovery never. So I can never recover from that, and for the whole game I have to literally do that, which can be slightly crazy, irritating, and also funny as well, depending on how you do it. Now, if you're able to do the final card of this game and then you get to this symbol here, the rescue, then you've won the game. If, however, you haven't and you lose hearts and everybody dies, then that means you fail. Simple as that. But it's, well, I'll go through the review now and let you know what I think. So Ravine. I absolutely adore Ravine. I think it's a brilliant game. I think it's one of the best games that I've played in Game Club, and I would rank it up there with Helopagos. In fact, I would be honest and say this is a better game than Helopagos because it's not as political and it's far more about cooperative, working together, benefiting each other, helping each other, and making a workable solution to things. The game has idiosyncrasies that make it more than just a single solitary play. I think also that its suggestion of 3 to 6 players, I would love to see an expansion for 10 players, because I think as parties this is a great game. I also think personally that the game has a lot of places it can grow to, and is one of those games that I think we'll see a lot more of. Personally also, I would say that my reservations about playing at the start were that it would be limited if you only had 3 people, but in fact it works well with 3 players, it works well with 5 players, 6 players. I mean, it's just the whole story is so succinct, it's so, the cards are tight, the game itself is tight, The only issue I have is just the rolling of these. I think that's a little kind of sloppy because it can really cause a disservice to you. Some players who are lucky get 3, some players get none at all, and it kind of underpins that probably needs to be redeveloped. But bar that, this is an excellent game and one that I would recommend highly to you. If you want a group game, a co-op game, this is the game for you, Ravine.